Hello, my name is Emma, and today I am doing the 5th part of my signed book collection. As many of you know, I live in New York. I live like right outside of New York City, so I'm always in Manhattan for book signings. So I consider myself to be very blessed to have met so many authors and to have so many signed books. I got my first ever book signed in 2014, and 2015 I did my first ever signed book collection, and since then I've accumulated like over 100 books by now that are signed by the authors, and now we're up to the 5th part of my signed book collection. I like to have a signed book collection at the end of every year, that way I can just start fresh with all my signed books for 2017, but today I have 21 signed books that I have accumulated since the end of August. So in about 5 months I've gotten 21 signed books, which is crazy. I have so many books to talk about, and I'm really excited to go back and reflect on all of these events and all of these author meetings, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So the first event I went to in late August was the Furthermore launch party in New York City with Tahara Mafi. So at that event I got Furthermore signed, as well as the Shatter Me trilogy, both by Tahara Mafi. This one just says Emma Tahara Mafi, and like I love her handwriting. Like I've never seen my name written in a more beautiful cursive than that. And then I had these two personalized, and this one just says Tahara Mafi, but the entire trilogy is signed. I did just realize that I didn't take the stickies out from the event, so I feel like I need to go through these more after events. I actually ended up vlogging a lot of the events that are in the signed book collection, so if you want to get a more expansive understanding of what the event was like and what I did and what the author said during the conversation, the Tahara vlog that I did will be in the description of this video. The Tahara event was really cool because it was at the New York Public Library, and despite living in New York for 20 years, I had never gone before, and it was beautiful. We were in this gorgeous room, and Books of Wonder was hosting the event, and Books of Wonder always gets amazing goodies for their book signing, so they had like Furthermore inspired cupcakes and swag from Penguin, and it was super cool. I had met Tahara back at BEA, but it was so nice to see her again. She was just so beautiful and talented and lovely, and I'm so happy that I got to spend some more time with her. That was also the day that Sasha from A Book Utopia was in New York City for the 1000th floor event, so I ended up seeing Sasha a little bit before we went to our separate events, and we got to hang out after and like just sit and talk, which is not something I normally get to do with booktube friends when they're in the city. So it was just a really wonderful day. I had the best time, and I'm so glad I got to meet Tahara again. And it really means a lot to me that one of the first trilogies I ever picked up because of BookTube is now signed by the author, and it makes everything feel so full circle. The next signed book that I have is Tales of the Peculiar by Ransom Riggs. This one actually isn't personalized because I didn't meet Ransom the day that I got it. He was actually at the Tahara event, but he wasn't signing anything. Books of Wonder, which is my favorite bookstore in New York City, always has stock of a ton of YA book signs, so if you want to look in the description of this video, I do have some links to where you can pre-order signed books, but other than that, they have a ton of signed stock on their website, so if you don't get to go to events like I do, you can order them off of their website. But Books of Wonder had a Loot Day event on September 3rd for Tales of the Peculiar, so while Ransom wasn't there and it wasn't a signing, a couple of bookish friends and I, we just went into New York City, we hung out in a bookstore, there was a photo booth, there was some really awesome Peculiar swag that I'm super happy I got, and it was just a nice day to sit and talk with each other and just hang out in a bookstore, which is not something I normally get to do because all of my book friends are from the internet. So I'm glad I was able to get a copy of Tales of the Peculiar and have it signed by Ransom Riggs. The next event I went to was Sarah J. Maas in Bensalem, Pennsylvania for the release of Empire of Storms, and I also vlogged that event, and I will leave it in the description of this video as well because that was like the craziest book signing I have ever been to. Oh my goodness, I had to call at 9 a.m. to reserve my spot because I was driving 2.5 hours to go, and at like 9:30 I was already number 111. Apparently like 500 people showed up, and people didn't leave until after 11 p.m. It was wild. It was a really nice event though because I have met Sarah a couple of times before. I met her back in October of 2015, and in August, right before the release of Empire of Storms, I actually got to interview Sarah J. Maas on my channel, so if you missed that interview, I will also leave that in the description. And that day, Sarah signed basically my whole collection of all of her books, but because I have 2 separate editions of the Throne of Glass series and Empire of Storms hadn't come out and I was waiting for a special UK edition in the mail, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to just knock out all of her books. So at that signing, I ended up getting the UK edition of Queen of Shadows signed, as well as Empire of Storms and the Assassin's Blade. So at that event, we were only allowed to get 1 book personalized because right before Sarah had really hurt her hand. So the other books are stamped, and I'll show you the stamp because it's cool. But an Empire of Storms, she wrote, "To Emma, so amazing to see you, XOXO Sarah J. Maas." So it was so lovely to like see her again after like actually getting to know each other and recognizing each other and stuff. So it was really nice to be able to talk to her again. And then then this is the stamp that they had for any other books that you wanted signed by Sarah J. Maas. It is her signature that she wrote out. It's just stamped, but I like that it's in gold ink and it has this little emblem that says Empire of Storms Tour 2016. So like you have a date stamp for when you got the book signed. So that was a really awesome event. I actually brought Doug with me. Doug, of course, got bored and hated how many people that were there, but it was so nice to be able to take him to one of these events and to just be with all the bookish friends, and I met a lot of new people, and I would really recommend watching that vlog because it was a lot of fun. The next event that I went to was the Lee Bardugo signing in New York City for Crooked Kingdom. This is actually the one event I did not vlog, and I don't know why. That day was really busy because I had started it in the city at like 9 a.m. to go see Miss Peregrine's with Jessie the Reader and Monica from She Might Be Monica, because we were invited to see an advanced screening. So we had like a full day in the city and it was really, really nice. The event was super, super cool though. I have never been to an event at the Strand, but I actually got the opportunity to go because Adam Silvera is the doll and ended up not being able to go, so he gave me and Michael Bookline his tickets. It was totally spur of the moment. I didn't really know that I was gonna go for sure until like right before, and I had to skip class for it, but it was like so worth it. Lee Bardugo is also another author that I had met before. I met her back at Y'all Fest of 2015. Back then I had only gotten Shadow of Bone signed as well as Six of Crows, and I hadn't read Six of Crows yet. The only book I had read was Shadow and Bone, and so like I wasn't invested in the Grisha world yet. But now I am. It was so lovely to talk to her after reading Six of Crows, which was one of my favorite reads of the year. So I ended up getting the rest of the Grisha series signed. I have not read these yet. I will one day, I promise. But it was nice that I have the full trilogy signed now. And then I also got Crooked Kingdom signed. What I really liked about the event is it was on a Monday and books are only released on Tuesdays. So everyone who went to the event got the book a day early, which was super exciting. But honestly, I had so much fun at the Crooked Kingdom launch. I believe that Jesse has the whole conversation that he did with Lee because he was moderating the event. I believe that's on his YouTube channel, so I'll link that below, and I also believe that the Strand streamed it on Facebook or something, so I could find that link. I'll also put that in the description if you guys want to know what they talked about. But it was really awesome. It was in the Strand's rare book room, which is very tiny, but it's cool because like the whole walls are surrounded by all these old books, and like they have like $1,000 editions of Harry Potter and stuff. So the ambience of it was really cool, but they also had like cookies inspired by Crooked Kingdom that were delicious. They also had temporary tattoos, so all of us had the Six of Crows symbol on our arm, and I just got to spend the entire day with bookish friends, which was so much fun. But of course, I'm here talking about the event. Let's talk about Lee Bardugo. Lee is queen. She is beautiful. She is so talented and down to earth, and I think she's honestly one of my favorite authors as a person that I've ever met, just because she is so kind and cares so much for her fans. I really wish I could have had the opportunity to meet her after reading Crooked Kingdoms because this book destroyed me, but I hope in the future, once I finish the Grisha trilogy, I'll be able to meet her again for future book launches. But either way, the Crooked Kingdom event was super fun, and it's definitely one of my favorite days of the year so far. The next event I went to is the Marissa Meyer Heartless launch in New York City. That's another event that I vlogged, and if there's any vlog you're gonna watch from this video, I'd really recommend the Heartless one because that event was super unique and fun. Marissa Meyer is another author that I have met before. I don't think I actually met any new authors. I think all of these events that I went to in the past 6 months were people I had already met, but either way, it was so lovely to see Marissa Meyer again. I had met Marissa Meyer back at Y'all Fest of 2015, and I had gotten Cress and Winter signed, but what I liked about the Heartless event is this was the first time that I was gonna like actually like interact with her more and like see her on stage talking about her books, because at Y'all Fest I didn't get to see her on a panel. She was only signing, so I did get to speak with her, and she was really, really sweet. But I was really excited for like the actual conversation part of the event, and the event just blew me away. But for now, let's talk about the books. So I ended up getting the rest of the Lunar Chronicle series signed, which is Stars Above, Cress, Scarlet, and Fairest. None of them are personalized, so they just say Marissa Meyer on them, but I like that for the most part. They're all consistent. And then, of course, I got Heartless signed, and this is the one that got personalized, and it says, "To Emma, we're all mad here, Marissa Meyer." And so I'm really happy that for the most part, I have my entire Marissa Meyer collection signed. I just remembered I also met her at BEA because I have my Heartless arc personalized by her. So I've met Marissa Meyer 3 times now, and every single time she's just more and more lovely. Although I do hope I get to meet her again in the future, just because I really want that Heartless white cover from Owl Crate signed because it is gorgeous. But what I loved about the Heartless event is it was not just an author is going to sit and talk to a moderator and answer your questions for 45 minutes. It was super cool because they had set it up as we were at the Hatter's Tea Party, which is obviously obviously a reference to Heartless. So Marissa did speak a little bit about the book, and we had a reading from the audiobook narrator, which was like another super unique, really awesome aspect of the night. But Marissa had called up like 4 or 5 fans to the stage, and she would hand them a card and they had to do something to entertain us, and it was just super cool. I have some footage of that in the vlog, which you should totally check out in the description. And then Marissa did do a Q&A where she answered her questions and we had the signing. But I just love the fact that they took a step out of the box and did something new with it and got the audience really involved. It was super unique and it was a wonderful experience, and I'm so happy that I went. Then the final author signing that I went to in 2016 was the Cassandra Clare event. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing about this because I've talked about it 1,010,000 times. Basically, Cassandra Clare did an event in New York City for the release of Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, which is the newest novella bind-up of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I, of course, vlogged it, so it's in the description of this video, and it's another one I would highly recommend checking out because it was one of the most exciting days of my entire life. Because I got to interview Cassandra Clare. Literally, my life goal unlocked. It was sincerely the most amazing experience, and I will never forget it for as long as I live. But the interview is live. If you want to watch me chat with my favorite author in the entire world, that's also in the description. So yeah, that was a vlog filled with a lot of excitement as well as a lot of anxiety because, oh my gosh, was it nerve-wracking. But I had such an amazing time at the event. We got the cover reveal of Lord of Shadows. I ended up staying after for like an hour, just standing in a circle talking to book friends, which was like the best. And I also brought my mom along with me, and she has not been to a book signing with me since BookCon 2014, and she loves Cassie Clare almost as much as I do. So it was really nice to have her there as well. So we were only allowed to get Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy signed as well as one backlist title, but because my mom was there, I got another book signed. And I did give away a copy of Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, and for those of you asking, I did announce the winner and I sent the book out, so I'm sorry if you didn't win, but thank you guys so much for entering, and I just love seeing all of your excitement, and I hope to do another giveaway like that very soon. So the 3 books that I actually kept and got signed at the event were Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, Lady Midnight, and Clockwork Princess. If you didn't know, Alberto Rosende was there for the release, and he signed my book as well, so Cassandra Clare and literal Simon Lewis signed my book about Simon Lewis. So that I thought was super cool. I did not even comprehend how cool it actually was until like I had been sitting with it for a few days and I was like, Simon Lewis signed my book. So that was super cool that I also got to talk to Alberto Rosende, who is my favorite person on Shadowhunters. So I was over the moon that day. I, of course, got Lady Midnight signed. I don't believe Cassie was supposed to be personalizing that day, but she did write for Emma Cassandra Clare, which just meant the world to me because Lady Midnight is one of my favorite books of hers. And so I'm just so happy that I finally have this one like hand signed by her because I do have the limited Waterstones edition that isn't actually limited. That is also signed by her, but I'm super excited to have my own specific personalized copy. And then Cassie and Alberto both signed Clockwork Princess, so all I'm missing to have like my full Cassandra Clare collection signed is Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, I just hit myself in the mouth, and the Bane Chronicle, so I am like so close to having one edition of all of her books signed. And I think I'll die when that happens, but I'm excited. That day will go down in history for me. I cannot believe how amazing it was, and I'm just so thankful to Barnes & Noble Tribeca as well as Simon & Schuster for just making it as amazing as it was. Oh my gosh, it was literally like one of the best days of my entire life, and I'm so glad I was able to share that experience with you guys. And the final book of my signed book collection for the rest of 2016 is probably like the most anticlimactic one. I ended up picking up a signed copy of A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. The reason I got this was not because I went to a Sabaa Tahir event, even though there was one very close to me. I couldn't go because of class, but I was hanging out at Adam Silvera's apartment with Michael Bookline because we were filming some collabs, and so I'll link my video that I did with them in the description because we're also announcing a super awesome book club for 2017. But Adam was kind of going around his house being like, I have too many copies of too many books, like just take all of the extra copies, and I ended up having a spare copy. So I'm just grateful that I now have a copy of A Torch Against the Night because I did read and love An Ember of the Ashes, which is actually signed by Sabaa Tahir, so I'm glad that I have both of them signed now. But of course, thank you so much, Adam, for giving me a copy of A Torch Against the Night and for it being signed, which is a major plus. So that concludes my signed book collection for 2016. If you're interested in hearing about more of my signed books, I will leave the playlist of all of my signed book collections in the description. I just went to so many exciting events this past year, these past 6 months, and I cannot wait to see what 2017 holds. Let me know in the comments comments of this video. Have you guys gotten any signed books this year? Have you met any authors or gone to any events? I just love hearing stories of people meeting their favorite authors and going to events or just even receiving signed books, because I think it is just such a wonderful thing for us readers to have. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!